Okay, I'll explain what's going on here. I've got Blake here giving me a hand to remove the door, and once we get that off, I'm going to be doing this little rust repair down the bottom that I mentioned last time, and after that I'm going to tackle this rust repair on the driver's guard, and that will be, actually no, there's one more little thing. There was a tiny bit of rust on the inside of the door, so we'll fix that as well. So as soon as Blake finishes getting these bolts out, which is anybody's guess how long it's going to take. You there? Getting there, Blake?
Yeah.
Nearly there?
Yeah.
Okay. Alright, just close her up and... Oh, you can hold it closed. Just hold the door closed and I'll whack all the bolts out. So I put a texture mark around these hinges just to help realign it. And yeah, so here we go. Right?
Yeah.
You alright with that? Just put it on the bench. So, actually reconditioned these hinges too, put a whole new pin kit in them, so they're all nice and firm. Okay, let's have a look at this. So, it's just a pretty simple patch, but what I'm going to end up doing, I'm not going to fold it around. I'm going to actually join it along the bottom edge simply because you can see that scribe line there. That was actually put there because the door sort of started dipping down as it got to the end. So I'm going to grind that back in just past that scribe line and put the patch panel in and then stitch weld it right along the bottom and then grind it smooth. So, yeah, alright. Okay, so I got the door here on the bench and I just made this little patch here, so it's just gonna fit in there like that. And you probably can't see very well from there, so just something like that. So I'm just going to scribe that now and yeah, cut it out with the grinder. Just goes to show you that the chemical treatment doesn't get everywhere. So you can see a bit of surface rust in there where that's been covered. So I'll just hit that with a wire buffer. Just using a copper-based weld-through primer. It's a pretty good one, so just get it from a local paint supplier. So let that, I'm gonna have to let that dry off a little bit. Then I can simply tack that in. Might have looked a bit rough, like just grinding it off the bottom there, but the point being is that I want to actually lift the bottom edge up, so that's why I just ground it off and just come along and just stitch it in later. So we'll let that dry and then we'll come back to it. Just while I'm waiting for that primer to dry, I'm just going to play around with the bottom of this car. I don't think I'll add a complete rust repair section. I've got one from Rare Spares which basically covers that whole area, but I don't really think I want to waste a whole repair section on it because it's really just this one piece here. So I've drilled out the bottom there, the spot welds at the bottom for that support brace at the back. And at the moment I'm just going to bring the panel out a little bit closer. It's got a bit of a ding in there. So just going to get it looking a little bit straighter and then decide how much I'm going to cut. Metal is a little bit thin, but I think it'd be alright. I'll just salvage that bottom piece. Leave the edge intact. It's got the original profile. Just add that. It's not a very good patch, really. Anyway, our primer looks like it's pretty much ready over here. We'll go ahead and take this in and take her out. It's got, how do I do that? Just like twist the wrong way. That got it. probably not very entertaining, all this, but I usually do this sort of stuff in time lapse because I guess I sort of thought not too many people would be interested in this, but anyway, this time around I'm not. Rightio, so I finished the bottom of the door there. It's cleaned up alright. I mean, you can still obviously see a bit of a mark there where I made the join. Sometimes, you know, you don't always get it perfect, but that's nice and smooth, no high spots or anything, so it's just that little mark there. Skim a body filler later on when it's in bodywork, we'll cover that, everything's good. And this little mark up here, what that was is, I didn't actually get any camera footage of that repair, but the door had actually had a smack in the back, so typical sort of thing where it looked like maybe it had the door open, reversed into a fence post, so that was sort of pushed in, so that was sort of kinked in, and then there was a depression in that part, it was actually dented in, so we had a panel puller clamped on there, and just used a come along to sort of put a bit of pressure on it, and then just hammered it out. Used what do you call it? One of those things there. Not very good on my terminology, am I? So yeah, where you weld the little copper rods on, and then just use a slide pull hammer to pull it out. So that's all done. Now I'm just moving across to the guard. So got a basic patch panel, and that's what I'm going to do. Look, I don't know if that's the right way to do it or not. I'll just do it that way, so because it just felt right. So I've just got that clamped in place. I'm just going to run the cutting disc around it, and yeah, get it all cut into shape. Well, I got the door back on and the guard, and did the repairs that I wanted to do, that patch panel, and I worked a bit on that gap, and it's looking a fair bit better. So and then on the guard, I started to freak out actually when I got the guard on. It started looking like it was going to fit a lot worse than the one that I had on before. But I've played around with it a bit, and I've got it fitting okay, but it's still got a bit more work to do. So I think I've got it fitting in the best position that I can for the time being. And then what it might come down to is I may have to actually cut the door a little bit to get it to fit, because that curve on the door just doesn't match the curve on the guard. So I'll probably just take out a little bit off the edge of the door and try to even the gap up. Try to get that 5mm that I'm working on for the rest of the car. There's a little bit of a funny area there too, so that'll get fixed up. And then it gets down here and it kind of widens up. So again, that's something I'd have to work on. Maybe build it up with a bit of weld on the edge. So apart from that, the guard is looking way better than the other guard, and yeah, happy days. So I think that's it for this side. It's probably not, but you know, I'm thinking that's, oh no, it's the marker light. I keep forgetting the marker light. That's going to get welded up. So yeah, all right, well that's it. And yeah, next time I'll go around the other side and finish off everything on the other side.